Ah, the beautiful game, where today's tactical genius is tomorrow's scapegoat. Welcome to our documentary, where we delve into the question on every Liverpool fan's lips: should Slot be sacked now? Grab your popcorn, folks. This one's going to be a roller coaster of opinions, drama, and perhaps a touch of sarcasm. Kicking off, it seems Liverpool's form is the one thing that's truly consistent, albeit consistently questionable.
Now, whatever you think, and I honestly do not know what I think here, but whatever you think, what cannot be debated is that Liverpool's form has nosedived since these transfers were made. Like, these transfers were made. £500 million was spent in order to immediately improve Liverpool. Take them from the champions to a legacy team. And that really hasn't happened. 7 defeats out of the last 10 games is by anybody's standards a crisis. But why? It's a fascinating question. Why has this happened? Why are Liverpool struggling in the way that they are? Why are excellent footballers such as Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz struggling to find rhythm and form at Liverpool? And almost more importantly than why, will they rediscover it? Will these signings ultimately work?
So, dear viewers, is it fair to blame Slot when Liverpool's form has become as predictable as a British summer?
But now we're kind of seeing that. And I think where Liverpool are hurting right now is the loss of some key players. And it just goes to show how good they were for us. You know, Trent going, we've lost the relationship and the cohesion with him and Salah. So we've seen Salah kind of falter on that. The work rate that we used to get from Luis Diaz, his input, we've hugely missed that. Darwin Núñez, yes, we was all umming and about him. You know, is he good enough? But the chaos and the charging and the pressing that you bring, lifting players was huge. The loss of Diego Jota, which has hurt every single member in that club, in that team, in that city. So there's a lot of things to look at as to say why. And then we've got a lot of new players coming in who were still trying to find their way at a team like Liverpool, at a team in the Premier League, how fast and how physical it is and the difference it is playing in other leagues. And they still haven't gelled yet.
Next, we dive into the heart of Liverpool's woes, the injury list that reads longer than war and peace.
From Liverpool's perspective, the ruling feels like a harsh blow in a high-stakes title race, amplifying frustrations after City's eventual 3-0 victory. Arne Slot's side demonstrated resilience despite the setback, pushing forward with intensity, but ultimately falling short against a clinical opponent.
But seriously, is losing a few players really an excuse, or is it time to question the depth of the squad?
Victor Gyökeres, if Mo Salah squared the ball on 3 occasions, if a few players pulled it back to him on 4 occasions, he could be easily Liverpool's top goal scorer. It's just at the moment, there's no cohesion there once like we've known over late. But again, it's just taking time. Big players sometimes don't just come into a league and just light it up. It takes time to gel with your team, your surroundings. Look at Trent. He's in Spain and he's finding it difficult. You know, this happens to players when they go to another culture, another country, another style of football. It takes time to warm in. Kylian Mbappe in his first probably 6 months or how many months, there was and ahhing about him. He was getting booed, but now look at him. It takes time. It's not easy just to walk into a team, especially a big team like Liverpool, the Premier League, the toughest league in the world, and all of a sudden just make it happen.
Ah, the sweet agony of a controversial ruling where every decision feels like a conspiracy against your favorite team.
Part of the reason there is more pressure on Arne Slot, other than the results, is obviously the fact that they spent an enormous amount of money in the summer. And so I think what you look for, and it is kind of a manager's job if he's secure in his job, which he is, because he just won the title, it's to balance future growth against results right now. Results right now, this is I think it's a 4th consecutive away defeat in the Premier League. They're not that far back if you look at the table, but they're further back than they should be. And
8 points.
8 points, and they're not playing well.
No.
The last few games, he's kind of gone for, I think, the safety blanket of what he played, the setup they had last year with Szoboszlai in the midfield. At some point, though, there's no escaping the fact that if Slot were here, he could say, yes, but you talk about all the money I spent in the summer, or that the club spent, Hughes and Edwards and whatever. Reality is, Isak hasn't contributed anything. He came late, unfit. Even yesterday he was on the bench. He only came back to training on Friday. Blah blah blah. I mean, he's been missing in action. Frimpong gets injured and kind of disappears. Kirkus has a really difficult time, to the point that they actually end up dropping him.
Yeah.
Wirtz, it's been the debate we've been having all year, right? I contend that it's too much, that they're going to have to find a different home from him, other than in the hole, at least this season, at least by Christmas. I think I'm going to win that bet, but I don't know. So you look at all this, and then Ekitike, he's like a 22-year-old guy, which is what he is, moving to a much bigger club.
Does it sometimes feel like the football gods are simply having a laugh at Liverpool's expense?
You love Liverpool.
No,
You've made a lot of excuses.
Is he going to throw him in to think, well, he's just come back, rush him into this game? What's the point? Let's just save him for after the international break.
Where do you think they'll finish?
Look, the top four, 100%. 100%. They're going to be in the top four. Can they challenge for the title? I think they need to start, after the international break, picking up their form and getting their act together. Otherwise, top four it is.
Okay, that's the view of Liverpool former winger Jermaine Pennant.
And then there's the what-if game, where missed passes become the stuff of legend and endless debate.
Really, really disappointing performance and disappointing day for Liverpool.
No, absolutely. Look, I mean, I've got a lot to say. This time last year, I was calling up about how amazing we were, how controlled we were, how steady we were, and how confident every Liverpool fan was going into the game. This season, it's absolutely disgraceful. It's a dismal state of affairs, and I'm going to say it immediately early on this call. I do think it's actually time for Slot to probably. I do. I think it's time for him to go. I'm not going to lie. It's a shame. I love the guy. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great manager. I think he did incredibly well last year. But this is totally unacceptable. Liverpool Football Club have lost 5 games in the last 6 in the Premier League. That's one of the worst forms we've ever been on. And the City game was absolutely atrocious. And I wasn't surprised we lost. I didn't celebrate against Villa at home, because why should I celebrate after we lost 4 Premier League games in a row? I didn't celebrate when we beat Real Madrid 1-0, because, okay, this is acceptable stuff, the Champions League game, it's the European night. And even when we had bad seasons before, we still got some okay results at Anfield. So it's absolutely dismal. And in my opinion, I don't think Slot has enough credit in the bank. We've lost the league after 11 games this season, and it's just totally unacceptable.
How many hypothetical goals does it take for Liverpool to win the what could have been trophy? Of course, with great spending comes great responsibility, and even greater expectations. Do you think spending big bucks automatically means winning big trophies, or just big headaches? In the world of football, love and loyalty are often tested by whether to risk it all on a returning player. Should Slot be praised for his caution, or is it time to throw caution to the wind and just go for it? Finally, we reflect on those disappointing days when nothing seems to go right, not even the post-match pizza order. Is it simply a bad day at the office, or a sign of deeper issues that need addressing? In conclusion, the debate over Slot's future is as divided as a penalty shootout. Will he rise from the ashes, or is it time for a new dawn at Anfield? And there you have it, folks. Don't just sit there. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Should Slot pack his bags, or does he deserve another shot at glory? Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more sporting